Shalom, shalom, shalom. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Rakakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, rule well and teach well. Shalom to the feel like men that scattered abroad, pushing the truth without sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And also, shalom to very, very few sincere sisters that's taking heed and getting in order in these last days. To you all, I say shalom. I'm the brother Amawan coming into the video, Lord, when it's edifying, right? And it's the 12 tribes of Israel chart. And this lesson, we're going to go into the tribe of Manesseh, right, which would be so-called Cubans today. All right, but before I get into that, I want to go into the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. Why? Because it's high time. Things are getting real close to the end, right? Our Lord, which name is Yahweh Shai, right? I'm going to start off with Yahweh, which is the Heavenly Father name. Yahweh Shai is who the word incorrectly called Jesus Christ, right? Lord Yahweh sending Yahweh Shai to return and gather us all up, right? And we are to what? The fish out the elect of each tribe, right? You have an elect remnant within the tribe of Manesseh, you so-called Cubans, right? And it's high time to wake out of the deep sleep, right? Repent, come back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, right? Keep the law, statutes, commandments to the best of your abilities, right? So this right is the book of Romans 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now our salvation nearer than we believe, right? So that's why we're going to lessons like this, so we can warn you that you are a part of the Most High's chosen people, right? So within this lesson, I'm going to show you who you are, with the scriptures, right? And Lord, like I said, Lord, when it's edifying. All right, so first and foremost, you got to start off with that right here. Right, so right here is Israel, right? 12 tribes. You see Manesseh and you see Ephraim, right? Only reason I added an Ephraim because within this lesson, right, they are brothers and they're intertwined together. Their story is, side by side. They're together, so that's why I pointed them both out. So they're brothers, they're right there. And Manesseh is a big ass tribe, right? So from there, we're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 49, right? Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go to James 1 and 1, because from Israel, right, from this right here, we had to flee. We went through persecution, right? We have to leave the land, so now we're in foreign places. So now these videos, these epistles are going out to these places, letting you know who you are, right? We're pretty much pointing at your geographic location, and we're talking to you guys, right? Letting you know you're part of the Most High chosen people, right? So just know that we had to leave from here, right? Especially with the Assyrian captivity, going to the second Ezra chapter 13, I think verse 40 on down, how we fled, the Northern Kingdom, so-called Latino Indian, right? They fled. And they went to the Western Hemisphere, right? So they're inside certain lands over there. So they're scattered, right? We're scattered. So let's go to the book of James, right? 1 and 1. So like, let me put some do not disturb. It says James, right? James 1 and 1. It says James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Shai, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting, right? And let's go to that blue letter word, Greek word for scattered abroad. Excuse me, right? We can go to the Greek word diaspora.
Strong's G1290. Diaspora.
All right, diaspora. It says scattering of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations, right? Amongst foreign nations, right? Unfamiliar. That is unfamiliar. This is not our land. Oh, look, it says overseas. That's tough. That's real tough, because they had to go overseas, right? The Lord had to calm the oceans down just for the Northern Kingdom to get to the New Worlds, right? The Americas, the South America, North America, right? So let's go from out of here back to Genesis 49. So now you understand that we have been scattered, right? But then in these last days, you would know where you are at, right? And this right here is prophecy, Genesis 49:1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Right? So before we go into before we go into it, let's go into what the tribes name, right? Because I quoted them, but I wanted you to see it within the scriptures. So this right here is the book of Genesis 40. I'm tripping, like I don't have it in bookmarked already. It's 41 and 50 up. So you have right here, it reads Genesis 41, verse 51 and 52. Excuse me. It says Joseph named his firstborn Manesseh, right? So therefore you have it. Manesseh is the firstborn out of the two brothers, right? It says, and said, it is because the Most High has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household. So, right, that's where he gets his name, right? Because his name is Manesseh, which is so-called Cubans. Names means made to forget, right? And they did just that. That's how they got their name. The second son, he named Ephraim, right? Which also goes to the Hebrew word aparayim, which means to be fruitful. Well, it says right here, it says, and said, it is because the Most High has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering. See, there you go. Right? So, I forgot to even add Genesis 49 in here, but, dang, I forgot to even add Genesis 49 in here. Well, so from there, we're going to keep going. Right? It's still edification. Lord willing, I can come with a part 2 to add Genesis 49. What? Salaki, that's what it was. Genesis 49 mainly going hitting Ephraim. That's what it was. Salakia. So, in Salakia, for I'm really all over the place with this. I was trying to put it together, but it didn't come out that way. So, we're going to hit off in Genesis 48, 13 through 20. Right? Because they got a beautiful story, and this is why this is how we can really put together, I think it's in Deuteronomy 33. Yeah. Hold on, let me see. Let me reread it. Okay, yeah, that thing's in 33. But it's all good, though. Right, let's read this. It says Genesis 48, verse 13. It says, and Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, right? Israel meaning Jacob, right? Before he got his name changed to Israel. It says, and Manesseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. It says, and Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding with his hand wittingly, for Manesseh was the firstborn. Right, because pretty much he's passing down, giving up the blessing. Right, it says, and he blessed Joseph and said, the Most High, before whom my fathers Abraham, Isaac did walk, the power which feed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, in the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. Why? Because of the fact that normally, traditionally, right, the firstborn, right, receive the firstborn's blessing, but right, the Lord had plans otherwise, right? He gave it to Ephraim instead of Manesseh. Right, it says, and Joseph, verse 18, and Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is my firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And when you see it today, the so-called Cubans, or the so-called Puerto Ricans, right, which would be the tribe of Ephraim, right, they're the head tribe, right? They're the head tribe of the northern kingdom, right? So verse 20, it says, and he blessed them that day, saying, and thee shall Israel bless, saying, the Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manesseh. And he set Ephraim before Manesseh, right? And pretty much Manesseh is, it's like Ephraim is, like I said, the younger, but he's over the northern kingdom, right? So from there, let me keep going, just tying things in, because really the Deuteronomy 33 really ties it all in, right? Let me make sure I'm not missing nothing. Got the names. All right, so the rest of this falls through Deuteronomy, right? So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 33, 13, 13 through 17. It says, and of Joseph he said, blessed of the Lord be his land, for the precious things of heaven, for the dew, and for the depth that coucheth beneath, right? So we're going inside the tribe of strictly Manesseh, you know. Let me read, you know what? I go straight into it, right? Because when it goes to and for the deep that coucheth beneath, Cubans have a beautiful, beautiful scenery when it comes to their ocean, right? And they take pride into it, right? So let's get that, right? It says Cuba is renowned for its beautiful beaches, offering a variety of options from bustling resorts areas to secluded, pristine shores. Popular choices include Varadero, known for its long stretches of white sand and clear waters, and Cayo Largo, famous for its powdery sands and its tranquil atmosphere, right? I'm just, you can read the rest of it, but I just want to show you the pictures, right? Look at these beautiful, pictures, man. You can't beat that. Look at that. That shit like a swimming pool. No chlorine, So yeah, they take pride in that, man. Shit, I would too, man. That's beautiful, right? So let me go back from that. I did an AI overview for it as well. It says, yes, Cubans often take great pride in their beaches, which are a significant part of their culture and natural beauty. Many Cubans enjoy spending time at the beach, and the island's beaches are a popular destination for both locals and tourists. See, that's how beautiful it is. Even the people that stay there are always there. I mean, hey, that is like, for case in point, they take pride inside their culture, their beaches. A lot of people have an attraction that they place and they barely be there. They be like, that's for the tourists. We don't care about that shit. No, man, they actually be at the beaches as well, right? So from there, let's go back to Deuteronomy 33. It says, and for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, and for the precious things put forth by the moon, right? So by the months, seasons, right? So they actual and Cuba has some beautiful fruits as well, nice fruits, right? Let's go down. Something says Cuba boasts a wide array of delicious tropical fruits. Some popular choices include mangoes, right? Yellow atofo, right? You got Rena, Sonora. I don't know how to say that, right? But it got bananas, plantains, right? Papaya, guava. Guava is amazing. Definitely try some guava. Coconut, right? You got some mamey and guanabana soursop, right? And they take boast in that, right? And let me see that word boast right quick, right? They talk with excessive pride and self-satisfaction about one's achievement, right? They brag, they brag about it. They telling you it's good. You ever had one of those a real nice ripe pineapple? That shit is like, damn, this shit juicy. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, they take pride in those things. And when I was usually working from doing delivery, right, produce delivery, a lot of fruits will come from Mexico. I mean, not Mexico, Mexico too, but Cuba's what is the topic, right? So let's go back to Deuteronomy. Right. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm gonna find it though. Right. It says Deuteronomy 33 and verse 15. It says, "And for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills," right? And let's go to that the hills, because they have a big hills mountains within Cuba, right? Real sightseeing, right? One of the major ones is the Sierra Maestra, right? It's the prominent and highest, right? Located in the southeast part of the island, right? You have two other ones, right? Which would be the Cordillera de Guana, dang, I can't even get it. Guanaguanico in western Cuba, which includes the Sierra de los Organos and Sierra de Rosiado, right? And then you have the Escambray Mountains are found in central Cuba, right? So these are like the three ancient, right? These are three, mountains within Cuba, right? And you have a lot of mountains, but those are like the three, big ones. And I'm missing something because I'm supposed to be trying to find the tie it all in. The tie it all in. That's what it was. I read past it too fast. It's hyping the spirit, right? But it's all good. We can go back to it. It's verse 16. "And for the precious things of the earth and the fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwelt in the bush, let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns," right? And that horn going to like what? The power, right? And it says, "With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth, and they are the 10,000 of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manesseh," right? And going back to he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. And going back to the time, like I said, I brought out earlier with 2 Ezra chapter 13, that was the head tribe that started up, that got over here, set up, the tribe of Ephraim, right? So let me go back to Genesis 40, I think it's 48, yeah, because I think it's in 17, how he was, positioning to the brothers, right? He brought forth the brothers to receive their blessing. It said, verse 17, "And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim," right, the right hand, "it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it." No, Slakia. Verse 14, Slakia. It says, "In Israel," right, which was Jacob. His name was Jacob at first. It says, "In Israel stretched out his right hand," right, his right hand, "and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was a younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head," right? So you have the right hand, and you have the left hand, right? So going back to a geographic picture through the spirit, if you can receive it, that's beautiful, right? So when you look at it, and even in today's time, right, you see how close they are, right? 'Cause they're brothers, right? They're brothers. They're close, right? You have right? He laid upon Ephraim's right hand, you see Puerto Rico, boom, and upon the left hand, Cuba, right? Because remember, we're scattered. We're scattered, right? But they're still together. They're still close in proximity. Then you have Cuba, which is on the left hand, right? Which was the left hand he placed his hand upon. And I wanted to go into one small thing, right? It says Puerto Rican flag and the Cuban flag, right? They're real similar, right? And that reminds me like a big bro, little bro type of thing, because like when two brothers were born, I don't know, probably 1 year, 2 years, 3 years apart. The mom always have a thing of trying to dress you alike. Might be a different color that be off. But it says the flags of Puerto Rico and Cuba share striking similarities, with the Puerto Rican flag essentially being an inverted version of the Cuban flag, right? So pretty much everything is the same. It's just different colors, right? This is a Cuban flag. This is a Puerto Rican flag, right? And once again, you are a part of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? The so-called Puerto Ricans, you are from the tribe of Ephraim, right? You so-called Cubans, you are from the tribe of Manesseh, right? It's high time to wake out of sleep. Excuse me. So with that being said, I'm going to close out. And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakadash. On to the next one. Shalom.